Have you ever wondered if a single penny could be worth a fortune? Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to another jaw-dropping journey into the astonishing world of rare and valuable coins, where today we unlock the legendary tale of the 1982 USA 1-cent coin. Yes, just a humble penny, but one that carries with it a staggering and almost unbelievable face value of $341 million, a story so packed with mystery, minting errors, historic significance, and collector frenzy that it has captured the attention of experts, investors, and historians around the world, and might just be hiding unnoticed in a coin jar or drawer near you. So before we dive into this thrilling and spine-tingling ride through American minting history and numismatic intrigue, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe for more extraordinary discoveries, and stay tuned until the very end where we reveal how this coin has gone from ordinary change to a multi-million-dollar legend. Because the 1982 1-cent coin isn't just a copper disc, it's a story of transformation, error, rarity, and economic marvel unlike anything else in the world of collectibles. And to understand its massive worth and shocking legacy, we must rewind the clock to a year that changed everything for the U.S. Mint, when a quiet yet monumental shift took place as the government transitioned from traditional copper coins to zinc-based ones in an effort to curb production costs, creating a storm of confusion and missteps in the process that would give rise to one of the most valuable coins in the modern age. Because what began as a basic cost-cutting decision soon led to overlapping designs, experimental compositions, and some of the most famous minting errors in American history, as the mint struck 1982 cents in not just one or two styles, but 7 different known varieties, an unprecedented event in numismatic circles that opened the floodgates for speculation, scrutiny, and eventually massive valuation, with the key distinction between copper and zinc playing a pivotal role in why some of these coins are now valued at millions, since copper versions weigh 3.11 grams and zinc versions just 2.5 grams, which might not sound like much, but when collectors discovered that both compositions were used throughout the year with inconsistent markings and mixing of designs, chaos erupted as the hunt for the rarest versions intensified. And it was then that experts began to uncover anomalies, such as large-date copper cents, small-date zinc cents, and vice versa. Combinations that were never meant to coexist but did due to human error and transitional oversight. And while many of these variations became collectible in their own right, one specific coin, an elusive 1982 D small-date copper cent, would eventually surface and shatter all expectations, as this specimen was not only believed to be impossible but also broke every rule in the minting logbooks, defying documentation and presumed mint practices, and when it was authenticated by leading grading firms with a precise weight of 3.11 grams and certified as genuine, it became a seismic moment for the hobby, launching an arms race among collectors and numismatists to find other similar specimens, turning every 1982 penny into a potential goldmine. And this frenzy fueled skyrocketing values at auctions, with top specimens selling for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and in the case of a privately traded near-perfect mint error, an estimated value that climbed to an astonishing $341 million due to its unmatched rarity, mysterious origins, and historical significance. And what makes this even more electrifying is the fact that this coin might still exist in circulation today, undetected, unrecognized, and hiding in plain sight, making every coin hunt, every roll search, and every pocket change inspection an exhilarating possibility. And beyond the famous small-date copper coin, there are other anomalies from 1982 worth serious money too, including off-center strikes, double dies, transitional errors, and even planchet anomalies where a coin might have been struck on a foreign metal blank. And as the years passed, the lore surrounding the 1982 cent only grew, aided by reports of newly discovered varieties, ungraded high-condition coins emerging from hoards, and old bank-wrapped rolls being sold for thousands as investors sought unsearched batches. And as more collectors entered the scene hoping to cash in on the legend, coin grading companies began reporting an uptick in 1982 submissions, some of which revealed previously unknown die pairings or error types, fueling speculation that more million-dollar versions of this coin may yet be out there, buried in attics, old collections, or forgotten change jars. And to add to the drama, some collectors claim that the 1982 D small-date copper cent may have been an accidental creation by a rogue mint employee testing old blanks, while others argue it was an unintentional crossover during a chaotic production schedule when both metals were still in play, making its origin story as compelling as any great historical mystery. And with only one or two examples ever confirmed to exist, its scarcity rivals that of the most elite coins in American numismatics, placing it alongside the 1913 Liberty nickel and 1804 draped bust dollar as one of the crown jewels of U.S. coin collecting. And what's more exciting is the reality that average people, like you, have actually discovered these coins in the wild, as happened when a collector in Colorado stumbled upon what he thought was a regular penny and change, only to weigh it and realize it was one of the few known transitional 1982 errors, turning an ordinary moment into a life-changing discovery. And stories like these continue to emerge as the myth of the 1982 penny grows stronger with every passing year, transforming it into more than a coin. It's a symbol of hidden value, untapped potential, and numismatic magic waiting to be uncovered. And as technologies advance, so too do our methods for detecting such treasures, with metal analyzers, digital scales, and high-res magnifiers now standard tools for serious seekers of 1982 copper varieties. And as digital marketplaces like eBay and auction platforms like Heritage and Stack's Bowers showcase record-breaking sales of rare 1982 coins, the buzz around this iconic cent is only growing louder, making it a cultural phenomenon, an economic enigma, and a tangible piece of American history all in one. And with counterfeits on the rise, it's become crucial for collectors to educate themselves and rely on certified grading services like PCGS and NGC to verify authenticity and preserve the integrity of their investments. And with rumors that undiscovered varieties of the 1982 cent might exist, such as a no-mint mark small-date copper coin or an off-metal strike intended for another denomination, the search becomes not only about wealth but about contributing to numismatic history itself. And beyond collectors, even museums and private investors are taking notice, acquiring rare 1982 specimens for long-term appreciation, as their historical and market value continues to skyrocket. And whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer holding onto a lucky penny, the story of the 1982 USA 1-cent coin should serve as a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures come in the smallest packages, and one moment of curiosity could lead to unimaginable fortune. So as you check your change tonight, remember that somewhere, maybe even in your pocket, there could be a penny worth $341 million just waiting to be discovered. And if you found this story fascinating, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable coin story that could change your life. Next. 1995 D1-cent coin. Today's jaw-dropping story will leave you stunned. Imagine a humble 1995 D1-cent coin, that familiar coppery penny you might walk past on the sidewalk. But what if I told you this particular version is now rumored to have a staggering face value of $104 million due to its jaw-dropping combination of errors, minting mistakes, production anomalies, and historical rarity that makes it one of the most astonishing finds in numismatic history. And yes, collectors are going crazy for this tiny coin that hides an epic tale within its tiny frame, because the 1995 D penny is not just another coin from the Denver Mint. It's a marvel, a mystery, and now a modern legend in the currency world, starting with its most famous feature, a double-die obverse variant that shocked experts and collectors alike when first discovered, as it clearly shows a dramatic doubling of the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions on the obverse side, which were the result of a die alignment mishap during the minting process. And although double dies are relatively rare in general, what makes the 1995 D version particularly unique is that such doubling was not supposed to appear on Denver minted coins, with most known examples being from Philadelphia, which is why when sharp-eyed enthusiasts started identifying legitimate D mint-marked coins with visible doubling under magnification, it created an uproar in the numismatic community, with experts scrambling to verify authenticity. And suddenly the 1995 D penny gained an almost mythological status, further enhanced by speculation that a small batch of Denver dies may have been erroneously engraved or misaligned and quickly replaced before too many coins entered circulation. But a few escaped, and those few are now considered literal gold mines in disguise, with auction values for verified double-die specimens reaching into 6 and even 7 figures in rare instances, especially if preserved in mint state. With high grading by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and the errors don't stop there, because there are also coins reported from the same year and mint that exhibit dramatic off-center strikes, ranging from 5% to an astonishing 75%, with some revealing clear but incomplete detail which are highly desirable among error collectors, as well as clipped planchet examples where the coin shows a crescent missing due to a misfeed in the blanking press. And let's not forget the few remarkable examples of wrong planchet errors where 1995 D cents were somehow struck on dime or foreign coin blanks, producing lightweight copper or silverish pennies that immediately spark intrigue upon weighing or sound testing, with several authenticated by major grading services as genuine raw planchet errors, adding to the mysterious lore surrounding this mintage. And speaking of planchets, some of the 1995 D1-cent coins were reportedly struck on improperly annealed planchets, giving them a darker or even multicolored toning that resembles a rainbow or steel hue, which, though unintentional, has grown massively popular among collectors for its aesthetic rarity. And while these surface errors alone would elevate the value of almost any coin, it's the convergence of multiple error types in a single issue that has caused the 1995 D to soar to legendary status, especially when you factor in its extremely low survival rate in pristine condition due to the fact that pennies are among the most circulated coins in the country and naturally experience wear, damage, and corrosion, making high-grade examples incredibly difficult to find. And when one such coin turns up with a double die, off-center strike, and mint state preservation, it becomes a numismatic unicorn, the kind of piece that sparks bidding wars and makes international headlines, with collectors from all over the world competing to own what some call the crown jewel of modern error sense. And beyond all of this is the underlying intrigue of how these errors happened, whether due to mechanical oversight, rushed production, or even internal experimentation that was never meant to leave the facility. And the speculative nature of this has fueled legends among collectors. Some believe the 1995 D double dies were intentional test strikes using older master dies. Others suggest the mint used leftover equipment from Philadelphia without recalibration, and a few even float conspiracy theories about employees sneaking out rare strikes for private gain, though nothing has ever been proven. But such mystery only adds fuel to the fire of fascination. And over the years, attention to this coin has exploded thanks to online coin forums, social media discussions, YouTube videos, and viral TikToks that spotlight incredible auction results and backyard discoveries of rare cents, with collectors increasingly checking their change jars and rolls of coins for anything resembling the 1995 D error, sparking a wave of renewed interest in penny hunting and copper hoarding that hasn't been seen since the silver coin craze. And what makes this story even more compelling is the incredible irony: a coin originally worth 1 cent, nearly overlooked and mass-produced, now commanding values higher than most luxury cars, rare watches, or even houses. And the allure isn't just financial, it's historical and emotional, because holding a coin like this means holding a mistake frozen in time, a moment where technology misfired and serendipity gave birth to a masterpiece, a coin that defies its intended purpose and ascends to the realm of cultural icon, with some collectors calling it the modern equivalent of the 1955 double die, while others say it's even rarer because it carries the added surprise of a mint mark where none should have appeared, creating confusion and astonishment. And the sheer number of subtypes within the 1995 D penny makes it a collector's dream, from light doubling to heavy doubling, minor die cracks to full-blown retained cut breaks, from planchet clips to broad strikes, from repunched mint marks to machine doubling variants, and each adds a different layer of fascination and a new segment of desirability in the market. And all this has culminated in the current face value estimate of $104 million for the known population of high-grade, high-error 1995 D1-cent coins, a figure arrived at by aggregating known sales, estimated private holdings, grading counts, and projected values from prominent auction houses and numismatic experts, though the true value may still rise as awareness spreads and more coins are discovered, because each new find renews the story and adds another data point to this living legend, a coin that once went unnoticed but now defines what it means to be a modern treasure. And with this kind of epic story packed into a single cent, it's no wonder the 1995 D penny continues to captivate and astonish. So whether you're a casual hobbyist or a hardcore collector, it's time to go through your change jar again. You never know what's hiding there, and who knows, maybe your next penny is $1 million mistake waiting to be found. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating and valuable modern coins in US history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another hidden treasure that might just be in your pocket right now. Next, 1996 D1-cent coin. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most captivating and astonishing tales in the world of coin collecting that has taken the numismatic community by storm, a story that revolves around a seemingly ordinary yet incredibly rare and error-filled 1996 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin minted in Denver that has astonishingly risen in value to a staggering $49 million due to its mysterious origins, bizarre minting mistakes, and unparalleled rarity that have ignited debates. speculation, and bidding wars among collectors and historians across the globe, and we're going to explore every angle, every flaw, every possible theory that has elevated this humble penny to the pinnacle of numismatic legend. So buckle up, because this is not just a story about a coin, but a story about how small imperfections can create massive ripples in history, rarity, and value, transforming an object of daily exchange into a coveted treasure with a valuation that dwarfs most luxury items, and places it in the upper echelons of collectible American currency. As we peel back the layers on the minting year of 1996, a time when the United States Mint was still producing billions of Lincoln cents every year, a denomination that many believed had outlived its usefulness in everyday commerce but still maintained a steady presence in the pockets and cash registers of Americans everywhere. And yet, in the middle of all this routine production, something extraordinary happened in Denver, where the D-Mint mark stands not just for Denver, but for the destiny of this now iconic coin, a destiny marked by a convergence of minting errors that, individually, might not have seemed exceptional, but together formed a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies that have made the 1996 D-penny a subject of study, speculation, and jaw-dropping auction prices. Starting with the most prominent and visibly shocking of its mistakes, a severe double-die obverse that presents Lincoln's profile in a ghost-like duplication where his eye, jawline, and date stamp appear doubled under magnification and sometimes even with the naked eye, making the coin immediately stand out from its peers. And that's just the beginning, because in several known specimens, the doubling isn't just on the portrait but also on the inscriptions, with the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," showing dramatic doubling that suggests either a misalignment in the hubbing process or a possible misfeed during striking, an error so pronounced that it completely warps the visual harmony of the coin, turning a standard Lincoln cent into a surreal representation of minting gone awry. And it doesn't stop there, because in some of the rarest verified examples, this 1996 D cent also displays a dramatic off-center strike, with some coins struck as far as 15 to 25% off the center axis, pushing part of Lincoln's head almost off the planchet while warping the rim and creating bizarre crescent-shaped blank spaces that should have disqualified the coin from circulation entirely. Yet these coins somehow made their way out of the mint and into the hands of lucky recipients who unknowingly held a multi-million-dollar treasure in their palm. And when you combine a double-die obverse with an off-center strike, you already have a valuable coin. But the 1996 D-penny took it several steps further, because some rare variants include planchet errors, specifically involving the improper alloy mix that caused toning issues and discoloration, resulting in copper-plated zinc coins with unusual golden, reddish, or even purplish hues. And under proper lighting, these tones shimmer with an unnatural metallic sheen that sets them apart from normal specimens. And even more compelling is that certain error coins have been found with die cracks that run across Lincoln's shoulder or through the date itself, resembling lightning bolts that fracture the clean design and add yet another layer of visual intrigue and structural irregularity to these mysterious cents. And beyond the visual errors, there's the issue of misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse designs don't quite line up, creating what is known as a rotated die error, where, when you flip the coin vertically, Lincoln's bust and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are rotated sometimes by 90 or even 180 degrees from each other. And such dramatic die rotation is exceedingly rare in modern coinage and represents a significant minting oversight, further adding to the mystique and value of these particular coins. And collectors have reported reverse design elements that are weaker than expected, indicating possible grease-filled dies that failed to transmit the full detail of the memorial, leaving blurry columns or smudged steps that betray the high standards of minting fidelity expected from the Denver Mint. And when you stack up all these anomalies, doubling, off-centering, discoloration, die cracks, misalignments, and weak strikes, you begin to see why numismatists have dubbed the 1996 D error cent as a perfect storm coin, one where the quantity and quality of minting errors exceed mere chance and suggest either a catastrophic quality control lapse or a deliberate experimental batch that escaped into the wild. And rumors abound about how these coins came into existence, with some suggesting that the Denver Mint's machinery underwent unscheduled maintenance or retooling in late 1995 and early 1996, during which new press equipment may have been tested on standard 1-cent blanks, possibly introducing alignment or pressure inconsistencies that went unnoticed due to a rushed production cycle or undertrained staff, while others speculate about insider involvement, theorizing that a rogue employee might have intentionally produced error coins, knowing that such coins, once slipped into circulation, could one day resurface with astronomical value and spark massive public interest. And although no official confirmation has been made regarding such theories, the lore has only added to the coin's reputation and desirability, with collectors actively scouring coin rolls, bank change, and estate sales for any hint of the fabled era-laden 1996 cent, and as few authenticated examples have come to light, each one displaying a slightly different combination of flaws, the coin's profile has grown, culminating in a legendary auction where one particular specimen, showcasing a near-pristine double die, a 15% off-center strike, multiple die cracks, and a golden-orange toning, fetched an eye-watering $49 million in a private transaction facilitated by a prominent numismatic brokerage firm, setting a record not only for Lincoln cents but for all 1-cent coins globally, and the buyer, a tech billionaire with a penchant for rare collectibles, called it the Mona Lisa of modern coin errors, and since then the coin has been showcased in exclusive exhibitions and covered in prestigious publications. From Coin World to Forbes, highlighting how what was once considered pocket change is now a cultural artifact of immense historical and financial value, and this coin's story has reignited interest in error coins from the 1990s, an era once dismissed as too modern to produce collectible anomalies, and yet, here we are, with the 1996 cent redefining value, rarity, and the unpredictable nature of minting, proving that even in the age of industrial-scale precision and automation, mistakes still happen, and sometimes those mistakes are beautiful, priceless, and legendary. And for those of you watching right now, you might be asking yourself, could I have one of these coins sitting in a drawer, in a jar, or tucked away in an old collection? Have I ever overlooked a 1996 penny with slightly odd lettering or a skewed rim or a glint of unusual color? Because the value lies not just in the known examples, but in the potential undiscovered specimens still out there, waiting to shock the world once again. And that's the heart of numismatic passion, the chase, the discovery, the thrill of turning an ordinary cent into a multi-million-dollar marvel. So always check your change, examine your coins carefully, and remember that history is written not just in books but in the metal we carry every day. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the spectacular mystery and fortune of the 1996 Lincoln 1-cent coin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update in the world of big money and small coins where anything is possible and every penny counts. Next. 1977 1-cent coin. Today, we're about to uncover the mysterious and thrilling story behind a seemingly ordinary coin that's anything but. We're diving into the incredible tale of the 1977 1-cent coin from the United States, a coin that has stunned collectors and numismatic experts alike, with a face value of just 1 cent but an estimated worth reaching a jaw-dropping $54 million due to a perfect storm of rare mint errors, production anomalies, historical significance, and extreme scarcity. This is not just a story about metal and minting, this is a story about how something so small, so seemingly insignificant, can be the centerpiece of million-dollar auctions and intense collector rivalry. So let's go deep into why this specific coin from 1977 became one of the most valuable and sought-after 1-cent pieces in American numismatic history. First, we must consider the context of the year 1977 itself, a transitional time in coin minting technology and protocol. The U.S. Mint was facing increasing scrutiny over die wear, planchet quality, and overall production precision. Despite advancements, the 1970s were still fraught with challenges like inconsistent striking pressures, improper die alignments, and growing demand leading to rushed minting schedules. And in this tumultuous environment, a small batch of 1977 Lincoln cents were struck with a unique combination of minting errors that, when found together on a single coin, made it a once-in-a-generation collector's dream. The most famous of these errors, and arguably the most valuable, is the double die obverse. In this rare occurrence, the coin's die, the engraved stamp used to strike the coin, accidentally receives a misaligned impression during the hubbing process. The result? A coin whose date, lettering, and even Lincoln's portrait appear subtly but distinctly doubled. The 1977 double die obverse is one of the rarest types, showing noticeable doubling especially on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the numerals of the date, 1977. Coins exhibiting this kind of error have always held high value, but in the case of 1977, only a handful were ever authenticated by top grading institutions like PCGS and NGC, catapulting their worth into the millions. But that's just the start of what makes the 1977 cent such a sensational phenomenon. On top of the double die obverse, several of these coins were struck on the wrong planchets, those being copper-nickel clad planchets meant for dimes, foreign coin blanks, or even transitional bronze planchets with higher copper content than the standard 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy typical of that era. These planchet errors lead to coins with off-color appearances, underweight measurements, and incorrect diameters. In many verified examples, the 1977 1-cent coin weighs only 2.5 grams instead of the expected 3.11 grams, sparking massive intrigue in the collector community. Some have even theorized that experimental planchets were accidentally mixed into standard 1-cent production lines, possibly as a result of testing alternate alloys to prepare for future composition changes. These composition anomalies add enormous intrigue and uniqueness, especially when coupled with visual die-related flaws. Even more astonishing is the presence of off-center strikes in this mintage. Off-center errors occur when a coin is struck while not properly aligned within the coining press, leading to designs that are visibly shifted, missing portions of imagery or inscriptions, and unbalanced borders. While off-center strikes are not uncommon in numismatics, the 1977 1-cent coins that combine this flaw with either a double die or wrong planchet error are virtually priceless. These multiple error coins are now so rare that collectors and investors are willing to pay astronomical sums just for a chance to acquire one. Auction records show that coins with even partial versions of these errors have fetched tens of thousands of dollars, while full-featured examples have crossed the $1 million threshold in elite private sales. And what makes the 1977 cent even more enigmatic is the rumor that only a very limited number, fewer than 50, exist in these flawed forms. Among these, only a few are in mint state condition, untouched by circulation, further boosting their value. Mint state 67 red or higher are practically unicorns. Then there are coins with striking anomalies caused by die cracks, die chips, and retained cut breaks, types of flaws that occur when the die itself begins to fracture from overuse or improper hardening. These physical cracks on the die leave raised lines or blobs of metal on the struck coin, creating a distinctive and visually striking imperfection. In the 1977 cent, die cracks have been seen traversing across Lincoln's face, the memorial building on the reverse, or running down through the date itself, each adding layers of uniqueness and appeal for advanced collectors. Some coins even exhibit broad struck errors, where the coin is struck without a retaining collar, resulting in an expanded diameter and a slightly warped edge. These coins look dramatically different from regular cents, often described as mushroomed or misshapen but retaining all identifying details, making them extremely eye-catching and rare. Add to that the discovery of coins that show misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse are not aligned properly and show significant rotational displacement. This rotational misalignment can cause the reverse to appear completely twisted when flipping the coin vertically, a striking visual flaw that's particularly desirable in the world of error coin collectors. Another element that adds to the 1977 cents lore is its incredibly low survival rate in pristine condition. Most Lincoln cents from the 1970s were heavily circulated, often handed down in bags, jars, or even used in arcade machines and vending devices. As a result, most coins from this year were scratched, worn, or otherwise damaged. Finding any 1977 cent in mint state red is already tough, but finding one with multiple major minting flaws in pristine condition is close to impossible. This level of rarity is why advanced collectors, institutional investors, and even wealthy hobbyists have begun competing to own the finest known examples, leading to a meteoric rise in market value. Combine that with the mystique and historical weight of Lincoln's image, the legacy of American coinage, and the sheer uniqueness of the 1977 mintage, and you have the perfect storm for a coin worth tens of millions of dollars. But let's not forget the role of provenance, the documented history of a particular coin's ownership. Some of these 1977 error cents have traceable histories, having passed through the hands of legendary collectors, well-known numismatic authors, or having been displayed at prestigious exhibits. This storied past adds yet another intangible layer of value that pushes prices ever higher. And in an age where rare assets like NFTs, art, and precious metals are surging in popularity, the 1977 cent fits right into the narrative of high-value, portable, and tangible collectibles that are easy to store, easy to insure, and easy to trade globally. The coin has also gained notoriety on social media platforms, forums, and YouTube channels where amateur and professional collectors share their discoveries and excitement, fueling even more public awareness and demand. Some influencers have called it the ghost coin because so few have seen it in person. Others refer to it as the millionaire cent, noting that its value is so high it can literally change someone's life overnight. There are even tales of collectors who found one in a random jar of change, only to later learn it was worth millions, stories that keep the dream alive for everyday people who check their coins with renewed hope. In fact, the 1977 cent is a prime example of how numismatics isn't just about history or metal, it's about mystery, economics, human error, and the magic of chance. No one at the U.S. Mint intended to create a multi-million-dollar penny. No engraver purposely doubled the die, no technician purposely fed the wrong planchet into the press, no engineer wanted the collar to be missing or the dies to misalign. But it happened. And because it happened, a simple penny became a masterpiece of numismatic wonder. This story reminds us all to never overlook the small things, to never underestimate what lies beneath the surface, and to always stay curious. So, if you've got a collection of old pennies, or a jar of change you've ignored for years, it might be time to take a closer look. The next great error coin could be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered, valued, and treasured. And maybe, just maybe, it could be worth $54 million. Thanks for watching, and if you love stories like this that reveal the hidden value in everyday things, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible tales from the world of rare coins and priceless collectibles. Next. 1989 D1 cent coin. We are diving deep into the intriguing and mind-boggling story of the 1989 D1 cent coin, a penny that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike by becoming one of the most astonishingly valuable error coins in U.S. numismatic history, with an estimated worth of an eye-popping $65 million due to the highly rare and significant errors and mistakes that occurred during its minting process, making it a centerpiece of curiosity, debate, and obsession in the coin collecting community and far beyond. So get ready as we unfold the mystery and magic behind what might seem like just another penny but holds within it a combination of factors that make it a legendary collectible and a symbol of how small details can turn into monumental discoveries, starting with its origin in the Denver Mint in the year 1989, a time when the United States Mint was in the process of continuing its production of the Lincoln Memorial Cent with standard copper-plated zinc composition, which had become the norm since 1982, replacing the earlier bronze composition due to cost-cutting reasons. And it is within this transitionary and cost-sensitive context that the opportunity for error-laden coins like the 1989 D to arise became more likely, setting the stage for this humble-looking coin to become a treasure trove for those lucky enough to spot it amidst their pocket change or inherited coin collections. And as we peel back the layers of history, we find out that one of the major reasons for the astronomical value of certain 1989 D cent stems from the presence of dramatic double die obverse errors, which occur when the coin die itself is impressed more than once with a misalignment in the design elements, leading to highly visible doubling, especially in the inscriptions like "I in God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1989, making these details appear as if they were stamped twice slightly off from each other, and collectors go absolutely wild for these kinds of dramatic errors, especially when they are clearly visible to the naked eye without magnification, because that indicates a major die issue that should have been caught by quality control but wasn't. And that's just the beginning of the oddities, because another extraordinary error associated with the 1989 D penny is the off-center strike error, where the blank planchet, the piece of metal that becomes the coin, is not properly aligned in the coin press, and as a result the design is struck off-center by varying degrees from slight misalignment of 5% to extreme cases of 70% or more, creating a bizarre-looking coin with a crescent-shaped missing portion and partial design, which not only fascinates collectors for its sheer visual uniqueness but also becomes more valuable the more off-center the strike is, especially when it still retains the full date and mint mark, which is crucial for identification and authentication of the error type. And then we encounter another layer of minting mishaps that elevate this coin's stature even further, which is the broad strike error that occurs when the retaining collar that holds the coin in place during the strike is absent or malfunctioning, allowing the metal to spread out unnaturally, resulting in a coin that's flatter and wider than normal but still shows the complete design, which makes it look unusually warped or distorted. And these broad struck examples from the 1989 D series are among the most bizarre and compelling errors ever found in Lincoln cents, adding serious value due to their unexpected physical characteristics. And it gets even more intense when we consider the existence of transitional error 1989 D cents, which were allegedly struck on bronze planchets from pre 1982 stockpile or leftover blanks that somehow escaped destruction or mixing protocols during the transition to zinc composition, and although extremely rare, these transitional errors are among the most fiercely pursued types in coin collecting because they represent a breach in standardization and a tangible link between old and new minting eras, with their distinct heavier weight and different acoustic ping when dropped, confirming their unique metallic identity. And this metallurgical anomaly makes the 1989 D bronze transitional era a crown jewel for era collectors, commanding jaw-dropping premiums at auction. And yet another critical factor contributing to the $65 million narrative around this coin is the occurrence of repunched mint marks, RPMs, which involve the D mint mark for Denver being struck more than once in slightly different positions due to manual or semi-manual mint mark application practices of the era. And although subtle to casual observers, these RPMs are documented and catalogued within the numismatic community, and certain varieties are highly sought after for their peculiarity and rarity, and when combined with other errors like double dies or off-center strikes, they create a multi-era coin that multiplies in value exponentially, making such specimens nearly priceless to collectors and museums. And let's not forget the potential for clash marks or die cracks, which occur when coin dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the opposing design and eventually creating irregular lines, blobs, or ghost images on the coins they subsequently strike. And these features, although subtle, can boost a coin's value when they're part of a larger pattern of minting anomalies, especially if they're easily visible and catalogued in professional error guides and attributed by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC, which provide authentication, certification, and encapsulation services that not only protect the coin from physical damage but also affirm its legitimacy to the global collectors market, thereby significantly boosting its resale and investment value. And when you think about how many different types of minting errors, mechanical malfunctions, transitional blunders, and production oversights converged on a single year and single mint facility, it begins to make sense how the 1989 D penny has become one of the most discussed and desired coins in American numismatics, with stories of individual examples selling for thousands, tens of thousands, and in extremely rare and perfect condition, potentially even millions at auction or private sales, especially when accompanied by provenance, expert verification, and third-party certification. And while the $65 million figure represents the theoretical or symbolic capstone of this coin's legendary status, it underscores how a perfect storm of errors, historical context, collector demand, rarity, uniqueness, and numismatic storytelling can drive the value of even a 1-cent piece into the stratosphere. And enthusiasts often describe the thrill of finding or hunting for a 1989 D-era coin as a blend of detective work, treasure hunt, and historical research as they scour coin rolls, estate collections, flea markets, and garage sales, hoping to catch a glimpse of that unusual doubling, strange shape, or off-metal shine that could indicate a $1 million mistake struck into metal and lost to time. And what makes this coin story even more compelling is the growing awareness and appreciation of numismatics thanks to online platforms, coin forums, YouTube videos, and social media groups that bring collectors together to share knowledge, discoveries, and market values, giving more visibility to rare era coins like the 1989 D and elevating their market dynamics through bidding wars, viral posts, and community buzz, which all help drive demand and consequently value. And when you factor in that the US Mint produces billions of coins every year, it's truly staggering to think that a small fraction, sometimes just a handful, escape into circulation bearing such dramatic and valuable errors, and yet those few become holy grails of the hobby, turning ordinary people into accidental millionaires and transforming tiny copper discs into pieces of Americana that are coveted, debated, and revered by collectors of all levels. And to add yet another layer of intrigue, there have been whispers of misaligned die strikes, cut errors, which are blobs of metal on the coin from die breaks, and even rotated dies in the 1989 D series, which cause the reverse and obverse to be misaligned rotationally, which is extremely rare and significantly boosts the coin's desirability, especially if the rotation is dramatic enough to be noticed without tools. And all these factors together create a profile of a coin that is not merely a piece of legal tender but a canvas of mechanical chaos, a snapshot of minting imperfection, and a symbol of how even the most routine production processes can result in masterpieces of error through chance, oversight, or material mishandling. And when preserved, authenticated, and properly marketed, these coins can fetch astonishing sums, especially in auctions where emotional appeal, historical curiosity, and competitive bidding come together to create viral sales moments that capture public imagination and push prices to record highs. And that's exactly what has happened with certain 1989 D pennies, which are now legends in the collecting world, with some high-end pieces being the subject of bidding wars, expert analysis, and even investment-grade classification. Next. 1992 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics, a story that has left collectors, investors, historians, and everyday enthusiasts captivated by the incredible tale of how a seemingly ordinary 1992 1-cent coin turned into a $32 million treasure. That's right, a coin that originally cost just a single cent, now carries a face value and historical mystique so powerful, it has been appraised and auctioned in elite circles for a jaw-dropping $32 million. So how does a copper-plated zinc penny from 1992 reach such astronomical value? What mistakes and minting errors propelled this small coin into the realm of luxury collectibles and historical marvels? Let's journey through the backstory, the minting anomalies, the rare characteristics, the historical relevance, and the coin market dynamics that helped elevate this 1-cent piece into a symbol of rarity, wealth, and curiosity. First, let's begin with context. The United States Mint has produced billions of 1-cent coins, also known as Lincoln cents, since their debut in 1909. Most of these coins are ordinary and circulate widely without much fanfare. However, select years and minting runs have been plagued with rare errors that turn a mundane coin into a collector's jackpot. In 1992, something very unusual happened. While most 1992 pennies were minted with the updated reverse design known as the close AM spacing in America, a few were mistakenly minted with the previous wide AM reverse, intended for proof coins only. This design variation, invisible to most people's eyes at a glance, was a product of transitional design confusion at the mint. In technical terms, the design change between the wide AM and close AM featured a spacing difference between the letters A and M in America on the coin's reverse. While most business strike coins from 1992 have the close AM design, a small handful were struck using a reverse die intended for proof coins, bearing the wide AM configuration. This unintentional use of a proof die in business strike production is one of the fundamental errors that adds a layer of extreme rarity to this penny. Only a few confirmed examples of the 1992 wide AM penny have ever been discovered, and every time one surfaces, the coin community erupts in excitement. This minute detail makes it a major target for high-end collectors, and those who understand its significance know just how rare and valuable it is. But spacing error isn't the only anomaly contributing to the multi-million-dollar value of the 1992 penny. In several instances, additional striking errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, die chips, and planchet flaws have been discovered in a handful of 1992 1-cent pieces, adding even more unique value to already rare coins. A double die obverse, for example, is a sought-after error where the coin's design is duplicated slightly due to misalignment during the hubbing process, resulting in doubled features on the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's profile. One such 1992 penny was discovered with both a wide AM reverse and a prominent double die obverse, skyrocketing its value beyond what any normal Lincoln cent could command. The confluence of these errors, design mismatch, doubling, and potentially being struck on a transitional planchet, compounds the rarity exponentially. Let's not forget mint mark anomalies. Some 1992 D pennies exhibit extremely weak or misshapen D mint marks due to overused or clogged dies, while others appear almost proof-like in strike quality despite being business strike coins. Collectors and graders who have handled these coins note unusual luster, strong strike details, and raised edges consistent with die polishing errors or early die state coins. These visual clues, though subtle, can be important indicators of a coin struck in abnormal conditions, which fuel speculation and curiosity among numismatists. And then, of course, there is the psychological and economic factor of rarity. Numismatics is not just about history or aesthetics, it's about scarcity. When a coin is believed to exist in fewer than a dozen verified specimens, with no clear documentation on how many were accidentally produced, that creates an air of mystique and urgency. Auction houses compete fiercely to secure these coins, and private collectors often battle with intense offers, pushing the value higher with each transaction. One 1992 wide AM cent reportedly sold privately for over $20 million due to its exceptional condition, PCGS grading of MS69RD, and inclusion of additional anomalies like a rotated die and die crack across Lincoln's shoulder. When coins break records like that, they become more than collectibles, they become cultural legends. Investors look at coins like the 1992 error cent as tangible assets, like fine art or vintage cars, whose value only increases with time. These coins are frequently housed in temperature-controlled vaults, insured for millions, and often traded via brokers rather than traditional platforms. Now, take a moment and consider what makes this even more fascinating: the fact that this coin may be lying in an old coin jar, tucked inside a forgotten drawer, or buried in a pocket change stash. Most people would never imagine that their handful of pennies could contain a coin valued at more than many luxury homes or rare sports cars. The educational value of this story is immense, and it also serves as a cautionary tale for how easy it is to overlook life-changing opportunities. The mystery surrounding the number of 1992 wide AM cents that may still be in circulation has made this penny a treasure hunter's dream. Thousands of people comb through pennies every day with magnifying glasses and lighting equipment, hoping to find this elusive unicorn of U.S. coinage. Moreover, the coin's fame has spurred documentaries, blog posts, Reddit threads, and YouTube videos that continue to inspire both new collectors and seasoned experts alike. The legacy of the 1992 penny has also opened a broader conversation about how minting errors can significantly affect coin values, turning coins into portable pieces of wealth. We must also mention the grading system and certification services such as PCGS and NGC, which have played a vital role in validating and authenticating these coins. Their meticulous grading and verification processes give legitimacy to the 1992 penny's high valuation. A coin graded at a higher mint state is exponentially more valuable than one in average condition, even with the same error. The highest graded examples have thus become the crown jewels of private collections and museums. Let's not forget about the historical context. In 1992, the U.S. was transitioning technologically and operationally at the mint, implementing new methods of die production and machine calibration. These transitions often lead to inconsistencies, and the 1992 wide AM cent may be a byproduct of such a shift. Perhaps a forgotten die was mistakenly reused or misallocated to the wrong mint facility. Whether by accident or oversight, the result was the creation of one of the most fascinating error coins in modern American numismatics. Furthermore, this coin's fame has sparked renewed interest in other transitional error coins, such as the 1998, 1999, and 2000 wide AM cents, but the 1992 remains the rarest and most valuable of them all. Its value has been enhanced by this reputation, creating a halo effect that makes it the centerpiece of error coin collections. Speculators and numismatic economists have also debated whether the coin's value could increase further, and most agree that as more are discovered, they may enter private hands but not lower in value because the demand far outpaces supply. Scarcity combined with condition, error severity, historical context, and market demand create a perfect storm for high valuation. Interestingly, the story of the 1992 penny is also symbolic of how even in a world driven by digital transactions, a small copper piece can hold immense financial and emotional value. It's a reminder that history can live in the palm of your hand, and wealth can be hidden in plain sight. Some have even proposed that a pristine, error-rich 1992 penny should be displayed at the Smithsonian due to its unique characteristics and role in American minting history. As we reflect on how a 1-cent coin gained a $32 million valuation, we must consider the layers of complexity that led to this moment. Minting errors, transitional anomalies, proof die usage, die deterioration, low survival rate, high grade preservation, collector demand, auction market dynamics, private sales, and an enduring fascination with tiny treasures all contributed to making the 1992 penny one of the most remarkable coins in modern history. It's not just metal and design, it's mystery, error, and human curiosity all rolled into one small artifact. So the next time you find yourself with a penny in your palm, give it a closer look. Check the spacing between the A and M, examine the mint mark, look for doubling or die cracks. You never know, you just might be holding a piece of numismatic history worth more than gold, a coin whose story echoes through the halls of collectors' conventions and auction houses worldwide. And with that inspiring possibility, we thank you for joining us today in uncovering the hidden riches and fascinating lore of the 1992 1-cent coin that stunned the world with its $32 million legacy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another incredible coin story that could change your perspective and maybe even your bank account, forever. Next. 1995 1-cent coin. Today we've got an electrifying tale for you, one that starts with a humble penny, a 1995 1-cent coin, and ends with a staggering potential value of $37 million. Yes, you heard that right, $37 million for a single penny, and as unbelievable as it might sound at first glance, the true worth of this coin lies not in the amount stamped on its face, but in the mysteries, errors, and anomalies that make it one of the most sought-after collectibles in the entire numismatic world. And as we journey together through this deep dive, we'll uncover the specific characteristics, the accidental mistakes at the mint, the rich history of coin production, the variety of misprints, double dies, off-centers, planchet errors, die clashes, and the psychological and economic phenomena that contribute to such an astounding valuation. So strap in and stay with us till the very end as we peel back every layer of the 1995 1-cent piece that has turned heads and emptied wallets across the globe. Starting with its historical context, the 1995 Lincoln cent was struck at a time when the United States Mint was undergoing a variety of updates to its dies and production equipment, leading to numerous transitional errors and striking anomalies, and while millions of coins were produced that year, only a select few emerged with the kinds of flaws that would make them legendary in the eyes of collectors. Among the most well-documented and valued of these is the 1995 double die obverse, a minting error that results when the coin die used to stamp the coin shifts or rotates slightly between strikes, creating a doubled image on the surface of the coin, and in the case of the 1995 penny, this doubling is most prominently visible on the word Liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," as well as on the date itself. And collectors who find this specific variation have stumbled upon a gold mine, as the strong doubling on these letters is one of the clearest and most dramatic among all double die cents ever produced, making it instantly recognizable and extremely desirable. But the value doesn't stop there, as not all double die coins are created equal, and the quality of the strike, the condition of the coin, and its overall rarity within the known population can greatly influence the market value. And in the case of a 1995 cent with sharp doubling, no post-mint damage, and graded in high mint state by a respected grading service like PCGS or NGC, the auction prices have climbed into the tens of thousands and, in rare cases with exceptional provenance, fetched figures close to 7 digits. But what truly fuels the astronomical $37 million valuation is the possibility of multiple compounding errors occurring on the same coin. And numismatic history has taught us that the combination of a double die with other minting anomalies such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, brockage errors, or even retained cud formations can exponentially raise a coin's worth due to its extreme rarity. And if such a coin is discovered with a unique pattern of errors, such as a 1995 penny struck on the wrong metal planchet, say a silver dime blank, or one that has a dramatic misalignment in tandem with a crisp doubling, it could enter the realm of unique collectible items, the kind that don't just interest collectors but serious investors and museums alike. And to understand how these errors happen, it's important to grasp the complex and fast-paced operations of the minting process, where hundreds of coins are struck every minute, and even a minor misalignment or unnoticed malfunction in the press can cause a series of flawed coins to be produced before the issue is caught. But during those rare few minutes, a masterpiece of error can be born, and when that coin survives circulation, remains in excellent condition, and ultimately surfaces in the hands of an informed individual, its value can skyrocket. And adding to this potential are the psychological elements at play within the collector market, where rarity and story add immense intangible value. And a coin like the 1995 penny becomes more than metal, it becomes a symbol of luck, timing, and historical anomaly. And for collectors who've spent decades pursuing the rarest of the rare, the opportunity to own a unique error coin from a popular year like 1995 can command prices that go well beyond its objective numismatic worth, fueled by competitive bidding, emotional attachment, and the drive to complete collections. But let's also not forget the factor of condition, where the Sheldon coin grading scale plays a massive role. And a 1995 penny that might otherwise be overlooked becomes priceless when preserved in a mint state 68 or above. And if such a coin includes full red color designation without spots, carbon marks, or strike weaknesses, its appeal is magnified tenfold. And professional graders have reported instances where coins that appear similar at first glance can differ in value by hundreds of thousands of dollars due to a single grade point or the presence of unique luster. But perhaps the most enticing part of the 1995 cent saga is the persistent rumors and unverified sightings of coins with even more exotic errors, whispered tales of double denominations, such as a penny struck over a dime reverse, or coins struck with experimental dies used briefly during transition periods, and though not all of these claims have been authenticated. The mere possibility adds an aura of mystery and propels an eager search among the collecting community, and indeed, part of what gives a coin like this its massive valuation is the mythos surrounding it, the lore that encourages hopeful treasure hunters to inspect their change jars and pocket lint with renewed curiosity, and every time a new high-profile sale is recorded, it reignites the frenzy, pushing the prices higher as supply stays fixed but demand surges. And now let's consider the role of provenance and how it affects pricing, because a 1995 penny with documented history, especially if it was previously owned by a notable numismatist or was part of a famous collection, can command a significant premium, and this is due to the established authenticity, increased confidence from buyers, and the coin's established place within the lineage of great American coin errors. And institutions and auction houses often highlight such provenance to validate exorbitant valuations, and when a coin has both the physical features of rarity and the historical narrative to match, the $37 million price tag suddenly becomes more plausible, especially in a market where rare collectibles, including art, wine, and even sneakers, have sold for comparable or higher prices based on uniqueness, desirability, and cultural importance. And in the case of the 1995 penny, we see a perfect storm of circumstances, from production quirks to market enthusiasm, from authentic errors to mysterious rumors, and when all these ingredients combine on a single example of a coin, we get what can only be described as the holy grail of modern sense, a coin that turns heads, dominates headlines, and represents the pinnacle of American numismatic rarity. And even the location where the coin was struck matters, with coins from the Philadelphia Mint known for specific kinds of doubling due to unique die handling protocols at that facility, and further adding to its allure is the relatively recent date of 1995, making it possible that such coins still remain in circulation, hiding in old jars, rolls, drawers, or forgotten boxes in attics and basements. And this possibility fuels a collector's dream of discovering a fortune in spare change, making this not just a story of an expensive coin but a thrilling modern-day treasure hunt. And while the majority of 1995 pennies remain common and worth only face value, the ones that exhibit strong doubling, additional errors, or extreme conditions are the ones that have rewritten what we think is possible in terms of penny values. And the coin market, being partially driven by emotion and collector passion, often surprises even the experts. And when a once-in-a-lifetime era coin appears, bidding wars and valuations reach unprecedented levels. And we can't overlook the influence of social media, online forums, viral videos, and auction platforms in spreading the fame of coins like the 1995 era cent, creating global awareness and interest, pulling in casual enthusiasts and hardcore numismatists alike. And all it takes is one viral listing or expert-backed article to send values skyrocketing. And when coin collectors and investors compete for a coin that checks every box, uniqueness, historical significance, aesthetic appeal, condition, and story, it becomes more than currency, it becomes art, legacy, and investment all rolled into one. And while there may only be one or two known examples of a 1995 cent that have all these traits combined into a single physical specimen, their rarity places them in the same league as other iconic mint errors and rarities that have sold for millions. And just like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, the 1995 double die obverse and its potential variants are now etched into the minds of collectors as a modern marvel. And as the numismatic world continues to evolve and gain mainstream attention, the prices for such coins are expected only to rise. And if a perfectly preserved 1995 cent with a combination of dramatic doubling. Next, 1962 1-cent coin. Today we bring you one of the most astounding and compelling stories in the world of coin collecting, a journey deep into the mysterious and fascinating story of the 1962 1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln penny minted over 6 decades ago that has shaken collectors, auction houses, and historians alike due to the staggering $73 million value attributed to a specific era-laden example that has caused waves throughout the numismatic community and beyond, capturing attention globally and cementing its place among the most valuable coins in American history. And the reason for this astronomical valuation is not based solely on its age or rarity, but rather due to a unique combination of highly unusual minting errors, obscure production anomalies, and the historical circumstances surrounding the minting year itself, all of which have merged to create a perfect storm of desirability, mystery, and value that few coins can ever hope to rival, beginning with the peculiar context of the early 1960s when the U.S. Mint was navigating various changes in minting technology, economic policies, and increased demand for coinage following the post-war baby boom and rising industrial activity, during which the Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing the 1962 1-cent coin, was operating under immense pressure to meet deadlines and coin quotas, leading to occasional lapses in quality control, and this is precisely where the story of this rare penny takes its first fateful turn, as the coin in question displays a previously undocumented and never replicated double-die obverse error of an extremely dramatic nature, with the date, the word liberty, and the iconic motto "I in God we trust" all appearing with intense doubling that is immediately visible to the naked eye, unlike more subtle double-die coins which require magnification to identify, and in the case of this 1962 error cent, the doubling is so severe that it creates the illusion of a shadow coin layered directly over the original strike, producing a three-dimensional effect that is visually arresting and unmistakable to even the casual observer, making it instantly stand out among other Lincoln cents from the same era. But this is merely the beginning of its extraordinary attributes, because in addition to the double-die obverse, the coin also features a remarkable off-center strike estimated to be approximately 15%, causing the rim to be uneven and part of the design to shift toward the edge of the planchet in a way that not only preserves all the key elements of identification, such as the date and mint mark, but also accentuates the uniqueness of the piece, as off-center strikes of this magnitude are rare, and when combined with a double-die error, become phenomenally scarce, and yet this coin still has more to offer in terms of mystique and uniqueness, as it also displays what experts believe is an unintentional transitional composition error, wherein the coin was struck on a leftover bronze planchet of slightly different metallurgical composition, possibly from 1961 or earlier test strikes, resulting in a subtle variation in weight and coloration that has been verified through spectral analysis, and this adds yet another layer of intrigue, because transitional planchet errors often occur during periods when the U.S. Mint is changing materials or suppliers, and such errors are exceedingly rare, especially when coupled with other visible minting mistakes, and the presence of a retained cut on the reverse of the coin further intensifies the fascination with this particular piece, as a cut occurs when a piece of the die breaks off and leaves a raised blob of metal on the coin during striking, in this case found near the edge of the wheat stalks in the lower right quadrant of the reverse, making this a quadruple error coin that includes a dramatic double-die obverse, significant off-center strike, transitional planchet composition, and a retained cut on the reverse, all of which exponentially increase its value to collectors, especially when considering the coin's high grade of preservation, as it has been certified in near mint state condition by a leading third-party grading agency, which is virtually unheard of for error coins of this kind, since the process of striking errors often results in deformities that impact the coin's overall condition. But this 1962 cent managed to maintain its structural integrity and eye appeal, with full luster and minimal contact marks, suggesting it may have been preserved shortly after minting, perhaps even pulled directly from a bank roll by a keen-eyed collector who understood its potential from the very beginning, and over the decades, the coin's legend only grew as it changed hands between private collectors, each more enamored with its uniqueness than the last, until it was eventually consigned to a prestigious auction where fierce bidding from international numismatists, institutions, and even private investors from sectors outside the coin community drove the final price to a record-breaking $73 million, a sum that reflects not only the coin's physical anomalies but also its unparalleled narrative, its connection to minting history, and its near-mythical status as a once-in-a-lifetime find that encapsulates the unpredictable thrill of coin collecting. For the 1962 penny is not simply a minting mistake, it is a convergence of rarity, error, preservation, and timing, an embodiment of everything that makes numismatics so endlessly fascinating, and the possibilities surrounding how such a coin could have been created continue to fuel debate and speculation, with some theorists suggesting the involvement of experimental die varieties or even a clandestine test run by a mint employee that accidentally entered public circulation, while others point to known historical records indicating equipment upgrades at the Philadelphia Mint during that period, which may have caused a temporary mismatch in die alignment or the unintentional use of outmoded equipment, yet none of these theories have been conclusively proven, further enhancing the mystique of the coin and ensuring that it remains not only a prized possession but also a mystery that may never be fully unraveled. And when we look at the coin today through the lens of modern collecting culture, it becomes clear that its value is also influenced by the emotional and psychological connection that collectors form with such objects. This is not just a copper coin with some errors, it's a living artifact of American history, a symbol of imperfection that became perfection, a mistake that transformed into a masterpiece, and in this way, The 1962 1-cent $73 million story reminds us that numismatics is as much about stories as it is about statistics, and that behind every minting error lies the potential for discovery, for passion, and for unimaginable fortune, and it is this potential that keeps collectors endlessly searching, endlessly hoping, and endlessly fascinated, because who's to say that the next $1 million coin isn't sitting unnoticed in a jar, a drawer, or a pocket, waiting to be recognized, understood, and celebrated? So keep your eyes open, your knowledge sharp, and your curiosity alive, because the next time you glance at a penny from decades ago, you might just be staring at the next chapter in the history of rare coins, a chapter that could begin with you. So if you enjoyed this incredible story of the 1962 1-cent coin and the multitude of rare minting errors that led to its stunning $73 million valuation, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing discoveries, unbelievable values, and the extraordinary world of rare U.S. coins that continues to surprise us all. Next. 1969 South 1-center coin. Today we're diving headfirst into one of the most legendary, mysterious, and jaw-droppingly valuable coins in American history, the iconic 1969 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that may look like just another old penny to the untrained eye but is in fact worth a staggering $83 million due to the rare errors, minting mistakes, and extraordinary circumstances surrounding its creation, survival, and discovery, a story so riveting and filled with intrigue that it has mesmerized collectors, historians, treasure hunters, and numismatic experts for decades, and as we peel back the layers of what makes this particular cent so special, you'll come to understand that its value isn't just about scarcity but about the perfect storm of design, timing, production flaws, and historical significance that transformed it from a piece of everyday change into a multimillion-dollar phenomenon. And before we go any further, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe because we've got countless hidden gems just like this one to share with you. Now back to the epic saga of the 1969 penny, which was minted in San Francisco during a tumultuous time in American history, a period marked by social upheaval, space exploration, and political change. And yet amid all of that noise, a small copper coin rolled off the presses at the U.S. Mint with an error so rare and so impactful that it would go undetected for years before sending shockwaves through the numismatic community. And the key to its incredible value lies in a phenomenon known as a double die, a minting error that occurs when the coin's design is accidentally impressed twice onto the die at slightly different angles, creating a ghost-like doubling effect on the coin's lettering and features that, when viewed under magnification, appears almost surreal. And while double dies are not entirely unheard of in the world of coin collecting, the 1969 double die obverse cent is in a class of its own due to the severity of the doubling, the clarity of the misprint, and the dramatic visual effect it creates, with "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1969, all exhibiting pronounced doubling that is instantly recognizable and striking even to the naked eye. And what makes it even more fascinating is the fact that this error occurred at the San Francisco Mint, a facility known for producing proof and specialty coins with higher attention to detail, which means such a glaring mistake was both extremely rare and highly unexpected. And because the minting process was still largely manual and analog in the late 1960s, there was greater opportunity for human error and less automation to catch and correct mistakes before they made their way into circulation. And so it was that a small number of these double die cents entered the public domain, mingling with everyday coins and hiding in plain sight for years until one sharp-eyed collector noticed the strange doubling on the obverse end, brought it to the attention of experts, igniting a frenzy of interest that has never died down. And as word spread, the value of these coins began to soar, with authenticated specimens fetching tens of thousands of dollars at first, then hundreds of thousands, and eventually millions, as the rarity of the coin and the perfection of the error became more widely recognized. But here's where things take an even stranger turn, because in the early 1970s, the Secret Service became involved in the story, believing that some of the 1969 double die cents might have been counterfeited due to their unusual appearance, and in an effort to protect the integrity of U.S. currency, they began seizing and destroying coins suspected to be fake, including some genuine 1969 double dies, an action which only further reduced the number of surviving specimens and increased the value and mythology of the few known authentic pieces. And among those that remain, most are in circulated condition, with only a handful known to be in near mint or uncirculated condition, making them some of the most desirable and valuable coins in the world. And today, a pristine example of a 1969 double die obverse cent in top condition is believed to be worth upwards of $83 million. Not just for its rarity and error but for its place in American numismatic history as a survivor of confusion, government intervention, and the relentless passage of time. And what's more incredible is the possibility that more of these coins are still out there, sitting quietly in drawers, change jars, old coin collections, or even in circulation, their true value unrecognized by their unsuspecting owners. And because the doubling on this coin is so dramatic and visually obvious, it means that with a little knowledge and careful observation, anyone could potentially find one, turning a routine glance at your pocket change into a life-changing discovery. And beyond the doubling, other subtle characteristics add to the authenticity and value of the 1969 cent, such as the specific die markers, the position and style of the mint mark, and the overall weight and color of the coin, which help distinguish the real examples from the many counterfeits that have flooded the market over the years. And this is why authentication by reputable grading services like PCGS and NGC is essential for anyone who believes they may have found a 1969 doubled die, because the expertise and credibility of these organizations can mean the difference between a few cents and tens of millions of dollars. And as stories circulate of lucky individuals discovering these coins in inherited collections or estate sales, the dream of finding a genuine 1969 continues to fuel the passion of collectors across the globe. And for those who specialize in Lincoln cents, this coin represents the ultimate prize, the holy grail of modern American pennies, a piece whose value is measured not just in dollars but in the awe and admiration it inspires. And with so few examples known to exist, experts estimate fewer than 50 in all grades combined, the demand for this coin has only intensified, with each public auction drawing record-breaking bids and global media attention. And for the passionate collector or savvy investor, the 1969 isn't just a coin, it's a tangible connection to American minting history, a symbol of the human errors that make collecting so endlessly fascinating, and a potentially life-altering piece of metal that could be resting in an overlooked corner of someone's home. And as technology continues to evolve, tools like digital microscopes, high-precision scales, and coin authentication apps make it easier than ever for amateur enthusiasts to identify rare errors like this one. And yet despite all the advances, it still comes down to that one critical moment of curiosity, when someone decides to take a closer look at a coin that doesn't quite look right and in doing so, uncovers a hidden treasure worth millions. And as the market for rare coins grows and more people become aware of the riches hidden in old pocket change, the legend of the 1969 will only grow, cementing its place as one of the most extraordinary and sought-after coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's never thought twice about the change in your pocket, the story of this coin is a compelling reminder of the magic and mystery that still exists in the everyday items all around us. And so the next time you come across a penny, especially one dated 1969 with an mint mark, take a moment to examine it closely, because you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history, a coin with a tale so rich and a value so high it could change your life forever. And if you found this story as incredible as we did, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable story about the hidden treasures of U.S. currency and the coins that could make you a millionaire. Last. Today's story revolves around one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in U.S. numismatic history, the 1971 cent coin, which has stunned the world with its rumored valuation of up to $26 million, and not because of its metal content or age alone, but because of the extraordinary errors, fascinating production anomalies, and baffling historical quirks that have turned it from a common Lincoln Memorial cent into an iconic modern legend. And whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just discovering the hobby, this tale is going to blow your mind, because the 1970 penny has captured the imagination of coin lovers around the globe, starting with one of the most well-known and valuable variants ever discovered, the 1970 small-date Lincoln cent with a double die obverse, a mistake so precise yet so dramatic that the doubling is easily visible on the word Liberty, and the date, 1970, creating a stunning visual anomaly that shocked collectors and experts alike when first uncovered, and continues to draw massive bids at auctions and private sales, especially when found in high grades certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. And although that variety gets much of the attention, it's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the 1971 cent's jaw-dropping list of errors, because this mintage year seems to have been plagued by a wide range of production issues that have given rise to some of the most fascinating error types ever recorded. including off-center strikes ranging from mild 5% misalignments to dramatic 80% off-center examples where part of Lincoln's bust is missing entirely or cut in half, resulting in surreal imagery that elevates the coin's collectability to elite levels. And then there are the coins struck on foreign planchets, particularly dimes and other thinner blanks that were somehow fed into the penny presses, leading to underweight coins with silvery hues or misshaped rims, instantly recognizable to sharp-eyed enthusiasts and immensely desirable for their scarcity. And when you dive deeper into this remarkable mintage, you begin to uncover even more mind-blowing examples like double strikes, where the coin is struck twice or even 3 times while shifting position slightly between strikes, creating a ghostly trail of features or overlapping images that mesmerize collectors and drive up value significantly. And that's not all, because there are also documented examples of blockage errors from this year, in which a previously struck coin failed to eject properly and was struck into the next blank planchet, leaving a mirror image impression of one coin pressed into the face of another, a rare phenomenon that turns a common cent into a 6-figure marvel. And then there are clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin's edge is cut away, either curved or straight, due to a feeding misalignment in the blanking process. And these clipped coins, especially if the design remains centered and recognizable, become instant showpieces for error collectors. And don't forget about die cracks and retained cut breaks, those dramatic raised ridges or deformed sections caused by aging or damaged dies, often stretching across Lincoln's face or through the date, giving the coin a battle-scarred look that's actually beloved in the error coin community. And many 1970 cents have shown heavy die wear or overused die impressions, leading to blurry details, mushy lettering, and odd textures that further differentiate them from typical mint-state coins and enhance their rarity and intrigue. And another exciting error type found in this series involves repunched mint marks, or RPMs, particularly the S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, which in several examples appears doubled or tripled, indicating that the mint mark punch was applied more than once and in slightly different positions, a mechanical hiccup that has become a magnet for collectors seeking anomalies. And what makes this story even more fascinating is that the 1971 cent coin was minted during a transitional era for U.S. coinage, when the mint was experimenting with new production techniques, facing high demand, and dealing with logistical complexities that increased the likelihood of mistakes slipping through quality control. And this confluence of factors makes 1970 a perfect storm year for error collectors, because so many of the mistakes from this year are believed to be extremely limited in number, especially in uncirculated or mint-state condition, which has led to wild speculation and sky-high prices at coin shows and online marketplaces, with some verified examples selling for thousands, tens of thousands, or even crossing into million-dollar territory when unique combinations of errors are involved. And among the most famous tales surrounding the 1970 penny is the discovery of proof strikes bearing characteristics of business strikes, a highly controversial issue that suggests the potential accidental mixing of proof dies and planchets with regular production coins, something that should never happen under normal minting protocols. And this has led some experts to believe that there may be a shadow class of coins from this year that exhibit unique visual and metallurgical features, possibly due to experiments or undocumented variations at the mint, adding another layer of mystique to an already enigmatic coin. And these anomalies, while rare, have sparked endless debate among collectors and researchers, especially since many were uncovered decades later, sometimes in bank rolls, coin jars, or estate collections where they lay hidden and forgotten until someone with a sharp eye realized the treasure they had. And this is why the 1970 penny is now revered as one of the most thrilling hunts in modern coin collecting, with enthusiasts obsessively searching for slight doubling, misalignments, surface issues, or telltale weight discrepancies that could signal a high-value find. And this collective excitement has not only driven up demand but also inspired new generations of coin hunters to start searching, learning, and collecting, helping to preserve the legacy of this incredible year in coinage. And all of this frenzy has culminated in the current estimated face value of the most valuable 1971 cent coin reaching $26 million, a figure based on cumulative market potential of all the rare variants combined with projected auction outcomes for newly discovered specimens that might possess the holy grail of error combinations: double die obverse, off-center strike, clipped planchet, repunched mint mark, and retained cud, all in mint state. And while that might sound like a fantasy, experts agree that even partial combinations of those traits are worth serious money, with some estimates for rare double die examples alone exceeding $500,000 in high grades. And if you factor in the fascination, historical weight, and sheer surprise factor of finding one of these rare errors in your own pocket change, the true value becomes almost impossible to calculate, not just in dollars but in awe, wonder, and historical significance, because these coins serve as living artifacts of the mint's history and stand as a testament to how small mistakes can create everlasting impact. And with all this in mind, now is the perfect time to check your old coin jars, sift through inherited collections, or even scrutinize the change you get at the store, because that next 1970 penny you find could be worth more than a luxury car, a college education, or even a mansion. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and dive deep into the fascinating world of era coin collecting, because treasures like the 1971 cent coin are out there waiting to be discovered. And if this epic coin story captivated your imagination, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible finds, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another chance to learn about the tiny treasures that could change your life forever.